Welcome music lovers. Join us on a journey through one of rock music's greatest guitarists, the remarkable life and extraordinary career of Eddie Van Halen, whose innovative guitar playing revolutionized rock music and inspired generations of musicians. So let's dive in. Eddie Van Halen, born Edward Lodewijk Van Halen on January 26, 1955 in Amsterdam, Netherlands. His father Jan Van Halen was a Dutch jazz pianist, clarinetist, and saxophonist, and his mother Eugenia of Indo-Eurasian descent, from Rangkasbitung, Indonesia. In the 1950s, Van Halen's mixed-race parents faced mistreatment, prompting the family's move to the United States of America in 1962. Settling in Pasadena, California, they encountered racial segregation, with Eddie and his brother Alex attending a segregated elementary school. As non-native English speakers, they faced bullying from white students. At the age of 6, both brothers began learning the piano, making the commute from Pasadena to San Pedro, Los Angeles, to study with their elderly piano teacher, Stasis Kalvitis. Although they hated the commute, they continued as their mother would discipline them if they refused to go. Van Halen never learned to read music. Instead, he absorbed Bach and Mozart performances and improvised. His talent was evident when he consistently won the annual piano competition at Long Beach City College from 1964 to 1967. While his parents aimed for classical piano careers for both brothers, Van Halen was drawn to rock music, influenced heavily by British invasion bands like the Beatles and the Dave Clark Five. When his brother Alex took up the guitar, Eddie initially picked up the drums, but after hearing Alex's rendition of the song Wipe Out, he switched to the electric guitar. Van Halen devoted countless hours to practice, often playing with his guitar strapped on while walking around at home or secluded in his room for extended sessions. Eddie and Alex Van Halen, along with 3 other boys, formed their debut band, the Broken Combs, and performed during lunchtime at Hamilton Elementary School in Pasadena, marking a pivotal moment in Eddie's aspiration to pursue music professionally. He found inspiration in Cream's "I'm So Glad" from the album Goodbye, describing it as mind-blowing. Despite citing Eric Clapton as his primary influence and claiming to have learned almost all of Clapton's solos note for note, he acknowledged resonating more with Jimmy Page's reckless approach to music. In 1972, Van Halen formed a band initially known as Genesis, later renamed Mammoth, due to the discovery of another band with the same name. Mammoth comprised Eddie on guitar and vocals, his brother Alex on drums, and Mark Stone on bass. Lacking their own PA system, they rented one from David Lee Roth, who later joined the band as a vocalist to save costs. Michael Anthony would replace Mark Stone on bass. To adopt a more captivating name, the band settled on Van Halen, proposed by Roth, suggesting that the last name of the two brothers sounded cool. By 1974, initially performing cover songs across various genres, Van Halen soon became a fixture in the Los Angeles music scene, playing at parties and renowned venues like the Whiskey A Go Go. At a 1976 concert at the Starwood in California, Van Halen opened for English band UFO, catching the attention of Kiss bassist Gene Simmons. Impressed, Simmons invited them to record demos at Electric Lady Studios in New York City, signing them to his company. Despite Simmons' enthusiasm, Kiss's manager and Kiss frontman Paul Stanley dismissed signing Van Halen, prompting Simmons to regretfully release them. Van Halen maintained a positive relationship with Simmons, with rumors circulating that Eddie Van Halen almost joined Kiss after guitarist Ace Frehley's departure in 1982. In a quest for a recording deal, Simmons attempted to garner interest in the demo tape but faced disappointment. However, in May 1977, record producer Ted Templeman discovered Van Halen during a performance at the Starwood. Templeman, like Simmons, was deeply impressed and swiftly persuaded Warner Bros. Records executive Mo Ostin to sign the band. Within 24 hours, Van Halen accepted the offer. Their self-titled debut album was recorded from mid-September to early October 1977 and hit the shelves on February 10, 1978. The album soared to number 19 on the Billboard pop music charts, establishing itself as one of rock's most commercially successful debuts. Revered for its fusion of heavy metal and hard rock, the album solidified Van Halen's status as a prominent force in the music industry by the early 1980s, marking them as one of the era's most triumphant rock bands. Celebrated as the band's lead guitarist, Eddie Van Halen gained fame for his distinctive sound and dynamic stage performances, renowned for his electrifying solos and pioneering two-handed tapping technique on the electric guitar. Beyond his exceptional playing abilities, Van Halen made significant contributions to guitar innovation, revolutionizing the instrument with inventions like the Frankenstrat guitar, a fusion of Fender and Gibson models, and securing 3 patents for guitar-related inventions throughout his lifetime. Van Halen would go on to release a total of 6 albums with vocalist David Lee Roth. Van Halen in 1978, Van Halen 2 in 1979, Women and Children First in 1980, Fair Warning in 1981, Diver Down in 1982, and 1984 in 1984. During the early 1980s, the band faced growing challenges due to personality conflicts with Roth. On the release of the album, 1984, featuring the hit single, Jump, their sole #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The album's other singles, notably, Hot for Teacher, also gained significant traction. 1984, reached #2 on the Billboard charts, second only to Michael Jackson's Thriller. In July 1985, with the arrival of former Montrose singer Sammy Hagar, the band's sound changed somewhat to adapt to the strengths of the new vocalist. Van Halen's keyboard playing became more prominent, as heard in songs such as Dreams and Love Walks In. Hagar contributed to 4 studio albums with the band, 5150 in 1986, OU812 in 1988, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge in 1991, and Balance in 1995, as well as one live album, Live, Right Here Right Now in 1993. During Hagar's tenure, some fans informally dubbed the band Van Hagar, to distinguish it from the David Lee Roth era. With Hagar, all 4 studio releases reached #1 on the Billboard charts, with For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge earning the 1992 Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance with Vocal. The live album, Live, Right Here Right Now, peaked at #5. Following Hagar's departure, the group briefly reunited with original singer David Lee Roth and released Best of Volume 1, a greatest hits package, in October 1996. 2 new songs were recorded for the album, Me Wise Magic, which reached #1 on the mainstream rock chart as a single, and Can't Get This Stuff No More. However, previous disagreements resurfaced, and the reunion did not last. Roth left in September 1996 after the MTV Video Music Awards. After auditioning numerous potential replacements for Hagar, the band ultimately chose Gary Cherone, former frontman of Boston hard rock band Extreme. Cherone expressed optimism, predicting that the new lineup would last 10 years. However, the Van Halen 3 in 1998 album received a lukewarm reception. Despite this, the band embarked on a world tour, featuring their new single Without You, and began work on a second album. Unfortunately, Cherone departed amicably shortly thereafter, leaving Van Halen without a lead singer and prompting a hiatus. In 2004, Van Halen reunited with Hagar as their lead singer and released a greatest hits package titled The Best of Both Worlds, to coincide with their reunion tour. The album featured 3 new tracks recorded with Hagar, Up for Breakfast, It's About Time, and Learning to See. The band embarked on a tour of the US, performing in 80 cities. On February 2, 2007, it was announced on Van Halen's website that David Lee Roth would rejoin the band for their summer tour. However, excitement waned when reports emerged on February 20, stating that the tour was indefinitely postponed, leading to the shelving of a planned compilation of Roth-era Van Halen hits. After 6 months and a rehabilitation stint for Van Halen, the band confirmed on August 13, 2007, at a Los Angeles press conference, plans for a tour with a new lineup across North America starting later that year, along with worldwide touring and a new album. The lineup included a rumored reunion with David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang, replacing Michael Anthony on bass. Van Halen toured the US and Canada from September 2007 through summer 2008. They released their 12th studio album, A Different Kind of Truth, on February 7, 2012, marking their first album in 14 years and their first with David Lee Roth since 1984. On May 17, 2012, Rolling Stone reported that Van Halen postponed all tour dates after a June 26 show in New Orleans, Louisiana. The band's members were in good health, not arguing, and cited the need for a break after non-stop recording and touring. They aimed to enhance their concert presentation before resuming the tour in late summer 2012. However, the postponed dates were later officially listed as cancelled. On August 30, 2012, Eddie underwent surgery for diverticulitis, postponing the Japan show scheduled for November 2012. On April 20, 2013, the Roth-fronted Van Halen played their first show outside America since 1984 at the Stone Festival in Sydney, Australia. They later performed in Japan from June 18 to 26, with shows in Tokyo, Nagoya, and Osaka. In February 2015, it was announced that Van Halen would release their first live album with Roth, Tokyo Dome Live in Concert, on March 31, 2015. The album featured performances from their June 2013 show at the Tokyo Dome. Additionally, newly remastered versions of their 1978 debut and 1984 albums were set for release on CD, digital, and vinyl. On March 24, 2015, Van Halen announced a 39-date tour with Roth scheduled from July to October across North America. Eddie mentioned in April 2015 to Rolling Stone that the band would likely focus on recording a studio album after the tour. Then, on September 12, 2019, Van Halen revealed plans to release a box set of their Japanese singles, which was subsequently released on November 1, 2019. However, on September 30, the same year, while promoting a 2020 solo concert, Roth expressed uncertainty about the band's future, suggesting that Van Halen is finished. Eddie Van Halen's creative ventures extended beyond his band, encompassing solo projects and collaborations. He worked alongside his brother on film soundtracks for movies like The Wild Life, Twister, and Sacred Sin, and collaborated with various artists including Kiss bassist Gene Simmons, singer-songwriter Nicolette Larson, Queen guitarist Brian May, Sammy Hagar, Black Sabbath, Roger Waters, Toto guitarist Steve Lukather, and LL Cool J. One of his most notable contributions was the iconic guitar solo on Michael Jackson's Beat It, featured on the record-breaking album Thriller. Van Halen also made cameo appearances in music videos, television shows like Café Américain, and an episode of 2.5 Men. Personally, in 1980, Van Halen encountered actress Valerie Bertinelli at one of his concerts in Shreveport, Louisiana, leading to their marriage in California just 8 months later on April 11, 1981. They welcomed their son, Wolfgang, in 1991. However, after 4 years of separation, Bertinelli filed for divorce in 2005, which was finalized in 2007. The following year, Van Halen proposed to his then-girlfriend Janie Liszewski, who was his publicist at the time and also an actress and stuntwoman. They tied the knot in 2009 at his Studio City estate, with both Wolfgang and Bertinelli in attendance. Eddie's brother, Alex Van Halen, an ordained minister, officiated both Eddie's 2009 wedding and Valerie Bertinelli's remarriage in 2011. Health-wise, Van Halen grappled with alcoholism and drug addiction from an early age, starting smoking and drinking at just 12 years old. He also struggled with nerves and anxiety during much of his life, with many believing this made his ongoing battle with alcohol addiction worse. He later admitted to relying on alcohol to function. In 2007, he sought rehabilitation, and in a 2015 interview, he disclosed that he had maintained sobriety since 2008. Diagnosed with chronic avascular necrosis in 1995, Van Halen faced lingering injuries from his high-risk stage performances and crashes. He underwent hip replacement surgery in 1999 to address the issue. Additionally, he began treatment for tongue cancer in 2000, resulting in surgery that removed approximately a third of his tongue. By 2002, he was declared cancer-free. Van Halen attributed his tongue cancer to his habit of holding brass and copper guitar picks in his mouth, in the exact same places where the cancer was. In 2012, Eddie Van Halen underwent emergency surgery for diverticulitis, and was later hospitalized in 2019 after battling throat cancer over the previous 5 years. His ex-wife Valerie Bertinelli also mentioned a battle with lung cancer in an Instagram post shortly after his death. On October 6, 2020, at the age of 65, Van Halen died of a stroke at St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica, California. He was surrounded by his wife Janie, son Wolfgang, who was the current bassist of Van Halen at the time, ex-wife Valerie Bertinelli, and brother and co-founder, drummer of Van Halen, Alex. His son Wolfgang confirmed his death on social media later that day. Fans created memorials at some of Van Halen's childhood landmarks in Pasadena to pay their respects. After his death, Eddie Van Halen was cremated, and his ashes were given to his son Wolfgang, who later fulfilled his father's wishes by scattering the ashes in the Pacific Ocean, off the coast of their hometown of Malibu, California. And there you have it. As we reflect on the life and legacy of Eddie Van Halen, let us remember his unparalleled talent, boundless creativity, and enduring impact on the world of music. His pioneering spirit will continue to inspire and resonate with fans for generations to come. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this. Take care and bye for now.